to lead normal lives again. I pay homage especially to the three eminent chiefs who led the process: the redoubtable Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the overlord of Mamprugo, the Nairi Nabohugo Abdullahi Mahami Sheriga, and the overlord of the Gonja state, the Yagmawura Tutumba Boresa Sulemana Japa. And I congratulate the Dagbon people themselves for deciding to embrace peace. We pray that we learn all the hard lessons and reject the use of violence to resolve the problems that will come up in our lives. Mr. Speaker, since I'm on the subject of highlights, this might be the appropriate place to recall the year of return. 2019 marked the 400th anniversary of the start of the barbaric transatlantic slave trade, and we declare the year of return as a mark of solidarity with the descendants of the millions of Africans that were taken in captivity from our shores into the Americas and Caribbean. Black people in the African diaspora, those in the Americas and Caribbean, and indeed in the rest of the world, took to their hearts our invitation and came in their numbers to Ghana. Our country throbbed to the sound of the returnees and the joy of finding a welcome after the trauma of 400 years of the horror of the slave trade. The young people of the world came to Ghana, and it was a good experience for all of us to play host to the world. We enter the year 2020 full of hope and the determination to build on the successes and joy of 2019, which ended on such a high note. Then the unexpected struck, and our world was literally changed overnight with the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic has shaken economies and public health systems the world over, and brought even some of the wealthiest and most developed countries to their knees. Over here in Ghana, our first priority in fighting the pandemic has been and will continue to be the health and safety of our citizens. We pioneered life-saving innovations that the WHO has since sought to replicate elsewhere. Our success thus far is a testament to the tireless work of our researchers, scientists, advisors, public health managers, frontline health care workers, hospital staff, contact tracers, and so many others who have dedicated themselves to the fight to keep Ghanaians safe. Our nation is deeply indebted to them. Prior to the onset of the pandemic on our shores, government had succeeded in restoring the highly indebted National Health Insurance Scheme, inherited in January 2017, back to rude health. Some 95,000 health workers were recruited into the public health sector, and we ensured that each constituency now has a well-equipped, functioning ambulance. COVID-19 has presented us with the opportunity to resolve some long-standing problems in the health sector. We have taken steps to resolve the problem of infrastructure deficit in the healthcare system once and for all, with the exemption of Agenda 111 and the start of the building of hospitals around the country. We are upgrading district hospitals where they exist and establishing new ones where they do not. We're also investing in our next generation of Ghanaian doctors and nurses. Throughout the period, I have tried to keep the Ghanaian people informed with regular broadcasts so we all know what is going on. This has led to the phrase fellow Ghanaians attaining a new status, as Ghanaians brought their famed ingenuity to find relief in the doom of the devastation being wrecked by the pandemic. Our artists and designers have brought their expertise to bring unexpected relief. We're wearing the fellow Ghanaians, and this too shall pass fabric with pride and the knowledge that we're able to find something positive out of the darkest events. I've had a team of dedicated Ghanaian professionals formed into a task force who have been advising me throughout the crisis, and I'm extremely appreciative of them and all those who have risen to the occasion and helped us to cope with the crisis. I'm using this opportunity to again remind all of us that the pandemic is still with us, and we have to maintain the protocols to keep us safe. Mr. Speaker, these past 4 years it has been a joy and a great privilege to serve our nation as president. There were many moments of great satisfaction, some moments of frustration, and some moments of disappointment. That is not saying anything special. That is life, and I did not expect that everything the government tries to do would have universal acceptance. There is one subject, though, which I believe we, the people, need to have an open conversation, and that is the phenomenon of galamsey. Should we allow or not allow galamsey? The illegal mining that leads to the pollution of our water bodies and the devastation of our landscape. As I have said often, the Almighty having blessed us with considerable deposits of precious minerals, there would always be mining in Ghana. Indeed, there has always been mining in Ghana. The problem we have is the use of modern technology that leads to the illegal mining methods, posing serious dangers to our water bodies and the health of our environment. The pollution of our rivers and water resources has been so acute on occasion that the Ghana Water Company is unable to afford the distilling of water to make for safe drinking. We have to talk about galamsey. We who are leaders owe it to the country to take the subject out of the party political arena and have an honest conversation about this menace to our future. Mr. Speaker, by dint of hard work, we have ensured that presently our country's reputation amongst the community of nations is high. For the first time in our history, Ghana has been honored by her peers with the privilege of playing host to a Pan-African institution, the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, one of the most momentous developments in the modern history of our continent. I've also been honored to follow in the footsteps of my predecessor presidents, specifically their excellencies Jerry John Rawlings, John Agyekum Kufuor, and John Dramani Mahama, with my appointment as chairperson of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. I'm aware of the enormity of the task ahead, and I assure the community that I'll discharge my duties to the best of my abilities. Mr. Speaker, I would like to say a special thank you to the members of this august House, to the members of this 7th Parliament in our 4th Republic. I speak as someone who has served 3 terms in this House, and I can safely say that this 7th Parliament has been the busiest ever and arguably the most productive in the history of our country. You have passed almost 50 pieces of legislative instruments. The acts have been wide-ranging in scope and reach. We finally have the Right to Information Act. We have an Office of Special Prosecutor Act. The Ghana Integrated Aluminum Development Corporation Act. The Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Act. The Witness Protection Act. The Lands Act. The Historic Private Members Bill, and lots more. In many ways, you have helped transform Ghana, and you have every right collectively to be proud of the work you have done. Speaker, the next Parliament is not going to be anything like this one that ends today. I do not suggest that the House might not be as busy, but the sitting arrangements, the source and decibel levels of sound from the House would certainly be different. The good people of Ghana have spoken and given Parliament an almost equal strength on both sides of the House. We have no choice but to work with the consequences of the desires of the people. The House would have to be more accommodating of each other's views and probably devise new ways of conducting its affairs in the interest of the good governance of our people. I am thankful to the Ghanaian people and to the Almighty that I have been given a clear mandate to govern the country for 4 more years, and thereby given the opportunity to complete tasks, consolidate some of the far-reaching measures we have introduced, and initiate further changes and adjustments to policies and practices. The Constitution demands that we go to the people after 4 years to ask for a mandate, and we must listen to the voice of the people. I said during the election campaign, and it is my firm and passionate view, that I should only be president in a fairly conducted election, which I believe in all sincerity the election of 7th December was. I recognize that my main opponent in the election, the former President John Dramani Mahama, has gone to the Supreme Court to seek its intervention and grant reliefs that he believes were compromised in the conduct of the elections. It is good for the nation